I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz. Welcome to another in our Business Success series. With me today is Shaun Ryan, the Chief Executive and founder of SLI Systems. Hi there, Shaun.
Hi, Andrew. How's things?
So, Shaun, tell us a little bit about your software and the business and the gap that you saw when you were looking to get this business started.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
So SLI runs the search for online retailers. If you go to one of our customers' websites and do a search on their internal search to find the products on their website, then we power that for them. So for example, if you go to the warehouse and type in TV, then that search results page you see is powered by us. A lot of retailers really struggle to get that function right. I'm sure you've had the experience where you go to a website, you type in a keyword, and the products that come up aren't related at all or only barely related. You know, you type in laptop and you see bags or chargers or something. You don't see laptops. Very frustrating experience. When that happens on a retail site, the retailer loses money because people don't find what they're looking for. They go somewhere else. And so we fix that problem for retailers, make it so that their visitors can find what they're looking for. It means they're more likely to purchase. And so that's the value we bring to our customers, is they'll sell more stuff when they have our search on their website.
One assumes there's plenty of competition in the space.
Yes, there is. There's some other dedicated site search companies like us. There are every e-commerce platform comes with a search functionality as part of it. So if you get the IBM WebSphere platform, it has a search. If you get Demandware, it has a search. Magento, there's a whole lot of platforms. They all have a search. Often it doesn't work very well, and so often we're just replacing that search. But there are other companies like us. The biggest one is our biggest competitor is a company called Endeca that got bought by Oracle just over a year and a half ago.
Did the idea to focus on this particular space come from your own frustrations as an online shopper?
Well, not really. I mean, the company came out, the genesis of the company came out of this. Originally, it was an idea my brother had when he was hungover on the couch one Sunday morning back in '98 on how to improve internet searching by watching what people search for and what they click on. And that turned into a company called Global Brain that we sold to NBCI. NBC was part of the American Broadcasting Network, or NBC's the American Broadcasting Network, and NBCI was their internet arm in the dot-com boom days. So we were powering the search on their portal. That got closed down in the dot-com crash. They had 900 people in San Francisco, we had 30 people in Christchurch. And a few of us got together and formed SLI Systems and bought the technology back off NBC. And we decided to apply it to site search because most sites either didn't have a search, or if they did, it was really, really terrible. So we had this technology that could solve this problem. We saw there was a problem. And it took us a few years to decide to focus on e-commerce. Initially, we were just, actually, there's a mistake a lot of startups make. You just sort of sell to whoever you can. And you sort of do that to just get whatever revenue you can. But I think in order to be successful, you need to focus. And that's something that we did. 2003, we decided to focus on online retail in the US. And that was the market we went after. We then started marketing them, building up a list of people to sell to.
It's surprising that Google hadn't got into this space, given their expertise in search.
Who? Google. Oh yeah, no, I heard of them. They are kind of synonymous with search, and they did bring out a product about 3 years ago for e-commerce called the Google Commerce Server, which they discontinued, or they announced they're discontinuing this year. They never really got the traction with the retailers. If you look at the top 1,000 retailers in the US and who's using what technology for their search, we're the number 2 player behind our competitor Endeca, and Google's sort of down the rank a little bit. I think they had 30th or something like that. So they didn't really do very well in the market. And I think one of the reasons is Google's got a reputation for having great technology, but it hasn't got a reputation for having great service. And one of the things our customers really value is that customer service.
In fact, you've actually established a position called the Customer Success Manager. So you put a lot of emphasis on this idea of really good, effective customer engagement.
Yeah, it's funny. We used to call them account managers, and then somewhere I saw this position, Customer Success Manager, and it really gelled with me. I thought, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we've got a team of people who are actually spread around the world, in the US and the UK and Australia and New Zealand, and they're responsible for looking after our customers, making sure they're using our product to the fullest that they can, for responding to them as quickly as they can, and our customers end up I've had quite a few customers tell me they love their customer success manager, whoever it is. Joe, I love Joe, he's great. And it's really good. One of the things we do that's sort of different with that is when they log on to our sort of back-end console, they see a picture of their customer success manager. So every customer gets a dedicated one with their direct phone number and email address. And that's actually really nice to know. If I ever have an issue or something I want to change, I can call Joe. I know I can call that number, he'll pick it up and say hello, but there's also a team behind him if he's not available that can look after me if need to. So that position's been vital for us. And we're a software as a service business, so the way we get the value from our customers is to have them for a long time. So we want to retain them. And so we want to make sure they're using the product, that they're getting value for that. And so looking after those customers is really vital from a business point of view.
Just how rapid has your growth been?
So we've been averaging about 30% growth year on year for our sort of recurring revenue for the last 5 years.
And has that been reflected in the growth of your staff complement as well too?
Yeah, pretty much. We've pretty much bootstrapped the business, so we've had very little capital into the business up to now. So as we would build up our sales, we would then hire more salespeople, hire more engineers, more customer success people, and then ramp up the growth. And we've just sort of kept on doing that.
So the decision to list, was that a logical point that you reached where listing became an option, or did you look at some of those private options as well too?
Yeah, well, we have bought money on privately in the past, but if we were going to bring on this sort of volume of money from a venture capital company, the best VCs for us would probably be in the US, who have had experience in e-commerce and all of that, and that would involve moving to the US, and it'd be quite a different sort of scenario than what we're doing now. And so the New Zealand capital markets really was an attractive option, and it was opened up by the likes of Xero and Diligent, who are software as a service companies that have done well on the market. And for me, that sort of showed that the New Zealand market understood these companies, valued them appropriately, and so it was an attractive option. It's funny, being a New Zealand company, often there's not a lot of advantages when we're selling into the US, but having the New Zealand capital market there is actually something that is quite an advantage.
Was it always your intention to list, or did you feel that in the last year or two you've seen a market that, as you say, is more receptive to this type of listing now, and therefore the timing was right? Yeah,
so the timing was right, but it wasn't like we had the plan that we had to list. It's always been an option, and we've been looking at it ever since Xero listed, really. And then the sort of window closed, the financial crisis happened, and luckily we never needed, we didn't have that urgent need for capital, so we've been able to wait until the time's right. And then for us, the market opportunity is also there. Having our biggest competitor bought by Oracle has been really useful, because it's kind of created a bit of a hole there.
How did you find the process? Because there has been criticisms about the nature of the listing process, that it's onerous in parts and not as easy as it could be. I mean, how did you find? What was your own experience?
Well, I'd been told it was going to be hard and a hard graft, and it was. There's a lot of hard work. I mean, just to get everything lined up so that you've done ticked all the boxes basically that you need to tick. There was a lot of work there. I'm fortunate that my management team were able to run the company fine without me paying too much attention to it. Also fortunate that I've got a very good CFO who really stepped up and was able to put the hard yards in and do the work.
At the end of that process, you still think it's been worthwhile?
Oh, definitely. And I encourage other companies to do it. I mean, it's kind of like just a process you've got to go through, but I think it's going to be a positive experience.
And the sales channels, how are you approaching the revenue model? And clearly now expectations of shareholders to be able to deliver on those numbers in your prospectus. Yeah,
so we have a direct sales model. So we employ salespeople in the markets that we're selling in. So we've got a sales force in the US. They actually spread all over, but most of them are sort of concentrated in Silicon Valley in our San Jose office. We have salespeople in London and in Australia. And in Brazil, we're selling through partners, so we've got Brazilians selling to Brazilians down there. So it's a direct sales model. We're going to be investing in growing that sales force. We're busy sort of recruiting now. And then there's a reasonably straightforward relationship between the number of salespeople and the volume of sales we can get, assuming we can get the people on and we can get them productive.
And customers buy licenses to use the product?
Yeah, they typically sign up for it's a service, so they sign up typically a 1-year contract for the service, paying monthly or quarterly, and then that auto renews at the end of that 1 year. And so our aim is to make sure that they're getting enough value to keep auto renewing and to use a broader range of our services.
And they pay a fixed price, or is it revenue dependent?
It depends on the volume of volume of searches that happen on their site. So a small site that's not getting many searches may be paying us $1,000 a month, and our bigger customers can be paying us tens of thousands of dollars a month.
What about the global aspirations that you have for this company? How big could it grow?
Well, we see there's a lot of room for growth in e-commerce. E-commerce is growing globally, and in every country. The US is the world's largest e-commerce market, but it's also growing in every country in the world. I mean, and you'll see this. You'll find yourself you're shopping more online. Your friends and family are shopping more online, and that's just a worldwide phenomenon. So we see there's a lot of potential, and I'm sure once you look at it, you'll notice that search on a lot of websites is really poor, and you'll sort of get a feel if you go and have a look at a few different retail websites, you'll get a feel for how much of a need there is for our sort of services.
Who do you think's doing online retail the best in the country at the moment, or even globally? I mean, who are the market leaders in that space at the moment?
Well, globally, Amazon is the market leader. It's who everyone looks to. They are the world's largest online retailer, and it's interesting and challenging for the bricks and mortar retailers to work out how they're going to compete with that. They're all really competing with Amazon because Amazon keeps broadening their range of products that they're selling, and the bricks and mortar retailers have. They've got their physical stores, and they're trying to work out how to leverage those so that they can combine online and their physical stores. It's the multi-channel retailers, what they talk about now, where they've got their online store, they've got the mobile version of their online store, they've got their physical store, they may have a catalogue as well, trying to make all that work together. So that's a real interesting challenge that bricks and mortar retailers have. And then you have pure play retailers who are just focused on one particular niche. So like we've got a lot of customers who are like that. So we've got someone who sells just motorcycle parts, motorcycle superstore, for example. And so they become just experts in that. And they've got a magazine that goes with it. They're producing a lot of content. That's the place people want to go to buy motorcycle parts because they're the experts.
Are there opportunities for extensions to the business? Could you see kind of bolt-ons in the future in terms of other areas where you think would be directly related to what you're doing at the moment?
Definitely, and we've done that over the past. I talk about search, that's our main product, but we've expanded our product as our customers have sort of requested us to expand it. So, for example, we have a mobile version of our search that works on the customer's mobile version of their websites. We also run the navigation for some of our customer sites. So this is where you click through the categories to find what you're looking for. It's a very similar experience, but you're not typing in a keyword. You have we're using the data we collect to help our customers rank in Google, because the basic idea is that the keywords that people type into the internal search are really similar to the keywords people type into Google when they're searching the whole web. So we're leveraging that data. We've got a product called Site Champion. So we've got the sort of history of bringing out new products, and we see we've got a pipeline and a whole lot of ideas both generated internally and from our customers. So we see a lot of room to expand the product range as well. Customers
coming to you, or do you go and hunt down the customers?
For these ideas, often they'll come to us. And in fact, often they'll... So one example is we had a feature called autocomplete, where as you start typing, it shows you keywords that match the characters you've typed. And it's useful because it helps you with your query formation. And we had one customer who said, well, can you show products as you type as well? We're like, yeah, we can do that. So we built that up for them, and we measured the impact of it and found that about a third of the people who search would use this drop down, and they converted at twice the rate of the people who didn't use it. We're like, that's interesting. So we turned that into a feature that we could upsell to our other customers. So that's sort of an example of the innovation happening from one customer sort of helping all of our customers. And I've got a bunch of customers who say, I want to try anything new you've got. And so they're really good. They're the sort of, they're at the front of the curve, and we can try things out with them measure those sort of results, and if they work out, we can expand it.
So this idea of customer engagement and really listening closely to the customer is critical, because it can actually provide some pretty innovative ideas as well.
Yeah, and that's part of the advantage. It ties back into that previous conversation we had with the customer success managers, who are the ones that are talking to the customer, who are seeing how they're using the product, who are hearing what they're saying. And we're benefiting from that experience across all of our customer base. So that close customer relationship is not only beneficial to try and keep them as a customer, but so that we can continue to evolve our product.
What are your aspirations for the next 5 years?
Well, we just want to continue to grow the company. We want to go into more countries. We see that the whole world needs better search. We're focused on the US, the UK, Australia and New Zealand for now. In recent years, we've started acquiring customers in Brazil, and we see there's a huge opportunity down there. E-commerce is really growing quickly in Brazil. Our next market that we're starting to go into now is Japan, and then we'll take it from there. But we get sales inquiries from Turkey, from China. We've got a customer in Singapore. We see the whole world needs search, but we'll do it one market at a time.
New Zealand has plenty of aspiration, of course, to grow this sector. What more could it be doing to support businesses like yourself? What else do you think we have to do to enhance the ecosystem to achieve some of these aspirations?
Well, I think there are a number of things happening really well. It's amazing how many really good tech companies there are around New Zealand. Often they don't have much profile, but I often will talk to entrepreneurs that are doing an amazing job, and I've never heard of them before that. I think having a good supply of software graduates, people that are doing computer science and related industries, is really important. We're finding there are good graduates coming out of the universities in New Zealand, but we'd like more of them. And I think celebrating the successes of the companies that are doing it and doing it well is also important, because it's going to inspire others to do more of the same.